clicking noises. This next piece is called Knowledge, my prose. I hated going into these goddamn gas stations in the middle of nowhere, but we'd been driving for so damn long that I think I lost all feeling in my ass. Besides, I had to go to the bathroom. It couldn't wait. He said he'd pump the gas this time, so I got out of the car and began to stretch, and then I saw the attendant staring at me through the window from behind the counter. It was an eerie stare, like a sex stare. I stopped stretching. I walked around the side of the building where the dingy arrows pointed to the washrooms. I really didn't need the signs, for the smell of shit that has been sitting around overpowered the smell of the dust in the air as I walked closer and closer to the bathrooms. I walked past the men's room and up to the ladies' room to find that the door was gone. It was propped up on the inside of the bathroom wall. A lot of fucking good it does me there, I mumbled in the stench. How the hell am I supposed to go to the bathroom when there isn't even a goddamn door to the goddamn bathroom? I thought as I stormed into the store where he was paying for the gas. He was buying 2 bottles of Pepsi for the road to keep us awake. The door to the women's washroom is off, I whispered with exasperation. Well, that's no problem, honey. Just go into the men's room. I'll watch the door for you, he said back. And the look in his eyes told me that he thought that this was such a simple and obvious solution that anyone could figure it out. He always thought he had the answer for everything. I wanted to tell him that the women's room frightened me enough for one day, that I didn't want to risk my life venturing into the men's room. Besides, men go in there. That attendant probably goes in there. I finally shrugged and waited for him to pay for his Pepsi and gasoline. I turned my head and followed him out. The attendant looked at me as I left. I could feel his stare burning into the back of my head. We turned the building corner and followed the signs. My shoulders suddenly felt heavier and heavier as I walked. He checked the room to make sure it was empty for me. He even held the door open. What a gentleman. I closed the door, but I really didn't want to be left alone with the smell. It smelled like shit, but I could also smell sweat, like the smell of dirty men. I wonder if this is what the attendant smelled like. I lined the toilet bowl seat with toilet paper, which I had to use sparingly. There wasn't much toilet paper there. I got up as soon as I possibly could and walked over to the dirty mirror, almost hitting my head on the bathroom hanging light bulb. There was even blue paint chipping and peeling next to the mirror. I strained to see my image in the mirror. Instead, all I could focus on was the graffiti on the wall behind me. For a good time call, so-and-so gives good head. Did that attendant ever call that number? I wondered if I was ever put on a bathroom wall. I wondered if I was ever reduced to a name and phone number like that. It probably had been. The floor was wet. I always wondered when the floors of bathrooms were wet if it was actually urine or just water from the sink. Or maybe it was from the sweat of all those men. I didn't know. I stepped on something under the sink in front of the mirror. I looked down. It was an open porn magazine. I looked at it from where I was standing. I didn't move my foot. It was hardcore shit, and it looked painful. Women with gags on their faces. I remember someone telling me that porn was okay because women wanted to do it, that were in it. But there was no smile on this woman's face. I pushed it back under the sink with my foot. I stepped back. I wanted to hit something. I wanted to hit the graffiti on the wall, the porn on the floor. I wanted to actually smear the urine from the stall all over the place. I wanted to even pull the light right off of the fucking ceiling. I put my hands up against the wall, and then I put my top of my head on the wall. I tried to breathe. It hurt. With my eyes closed, I knew what was there behind me, but it didn't hurt me anymore. When I first walked into that bathroom, I was afraid to touch anything, but then I just leaned up against the door, feeling the dirt press into my back, into my hair. I wanted to soak it all in, All of it. Then I shook my head and I realized that he was waiting for me outside the door. I turned around and grabbed the doorknob. I didn't worry about the dirt on my back. I opened the door.